This is IBM Museum, and this video is going to be an unboxing, but I'm not going to go through and release this segment publicly until some things are wrapped up. It did come in today. I've been expecting it, been in communication with the seller. The only reason I'm kind of delaying the video is to let some hurt feelings maybe die down if anyone's out there. I'm not aware of anyone that I know of that has piped up and said something about this, but I know that there's probably a couple individuals out there at least that were making a try for this as well, and I'll show you that in a moment. Let me get flipped around here. I may even get zoomed in a little bit on my camcorder. Well, no, I can probably do that. I just probably hold stuff up to the camcorder. But let's go through and look at what we've got. Now, I've got, in fact, let me go through. I'm going to hide the webcam view, and that way I know that I have the full field of view for the monitor I have here. And I've got everything important masked out on there. And it's funny, this thing, the Walmart originations of this box has been reworked. And no, it's not something from Walmart. It is actually from eBay, as it's marked there. And we're going to go through and give it an open. And I do have a couple of things set up, although the way that the timing for the video, I've lost the natural light, so I will probably not look at the aspect of my camera rig bed as much. I do have even a monitor underneath, or a flat panel display underneath that's even turned on, and just set on that because that's a good surface for me. But I'll show what other preparations I've done for this as well, because I can do those pretty quick. And I will probably just do photos with my camera in this case to get them to Major Tom, and so we can do a little bit of preparation before this video is released. And I did communicate with the seller and say that it had arrived, and she didn't notify me for anything that might be internal here that I wouldn't necessarily want to show on camera. I've masked out the addresses that were on that packing, and she did a printout of the listing, although that does have looks like address information on it. For the way it's folded, I can let you go ahead and see most of this. So I want to probably, that piece, I'll go through and, yeah, that's all the address information for both me and her. So that's pretty good that it just has the this slip in it. And I don't know if you saw this auction that came up, as it lists no reserve on an ultra rare graphics card. And of course she put up the listing, and I got a hold of her later on just to kind of let her know. And I'll qualify or try and justify a little bit of my behavior when the time comes as well, because it did you know, it did play on me. I went through and looked over the competing bids, primarily on the one that was had the lead bid at the time, and just to kind of see, and maybe when this video is released, that person will have a chance to comment and counter what I've said. This is kind of interesting for this being a, she's going through and sealing these on her own. And I've ordered from her before, very good eBay seller. And I may go through when in fact, this may come up as an edited product later on, from me adding in content and going through and kind of giving a shout out to her store, because I've been very glad in what I have received in the past, and made to fit anti-static bag. And this, like I say, this edge, it looks like that she's going through and she's sealing this herself with that those cellophane sealers, bag sealers, and everything else. And even to look at this on auction, this could be where you could look at it and say, hey, it's missing chips or something of that nature. But this is the VGA Eagle, and that 8100 is actually the POS ID of this adapter. So it's at 8100.adf is that adapter description file for this. And this does have the staggered sockets for the RAM. So I believe just the placement of these two chips really takes the place of the capacity chips that could be in the other sockets. And I think that is effectively on the jumper settings. We have to figure those out a little bit. But that just probably, those jumper settings probably change the capacity of the memory that's on there, the VRAM. And these are actually very capable. You know, we went through from the previous, and I'll step in a little bit in a moment on the justification for this. There's the chip, which I have news about as well, ultimately. There's the EEPROM. And here is the bus connector. And so those things, this is a head video adapter. And as a lead-in for my justification of jumping in and sniping this for any other potential buyer that was out there, this adapter does not have an ADF to it. That, as I went through and talked about that POS ID of the adapter, we have not found an adapter description file that exists for this in the wild. And it should be easy to generate, because I've previously shown the Enhancer Z product that goes through and it doesn't have the VGA connection on the back. It actually goes through and has an ADF. It's going to be uses auxiliary video extension, AVE, and so the it's a very similar board and construction. And of course, Ahead went through. They made a whole bunch of the ISA Wizard adapters by the same factor as well. So it shouldn't be too hard to make an ADF. the this label looked a little bit loose on the listing, and it is a little bit. And I don't need to. I've got it pretty. I know pretty well on what the capacity is for the for this ROM. It's probably a 27C256. But I want to look at the branding and other things. Yeah, and that label, and that's fine. Yeah, we'll give it a little bit of close up because I have another head adapter, same thing, just the plain Eagle, and it doesn't have a stick, or that label has come off. Typically these white labels, they go through, and you can't really see, but down there below the window, it's got 27C256. And that 20 denotes the 200 millisecond access time. And there's not any real worry about these EEPROMs losing content. I mean, it takes a lot of UV light shining in these particular models. These are there are instances where EEPROMs lose contents by UV light being erased, but this is new enough of a chip and good enough for this. Even this nighttime, even my ring light doesn't throw off enough UV light. No, I would hope so. It doesn't throw off enough UV light to burn my skin and my eyes and everything else. But for the one thing, even though I did have the Eagle adapter, in fact, I've got mine just to see the similarity in construction for this. Yeah, these look very close. This is the adapter I had, and as I say, the label's missing off of that EEPROM. Same EEPROM brand too, and chip and everything. So kind of cool there. Same RAM DAC and everything else on the chip. Same video chipset. Now this is version 2.03 on this EEPROM, and you notice it doesn't have that extension here for the video. We're going to look at that in just a moment too. And I am aware, working with the Enhancer Z products, that ahead chip, the V5000-50 PC, this is just a Chipin Technologies 82C451 chip. And that had two versions, and the head chips have an A and B version as well. And there's ways to go through and do a version process on these, and that's what I'm going to do when I get a chance to maybe do a little bit of software for these things. With this change in capacity, just in the sockets being different. I mean, there's pads on this to adapt to that. There's but I saw the adapter, and it just is unique enough in the fact that it's got these staggered sockets. It's got the VRAM modules that are the higher capacity. It just has enough differences I wanted to study. And it's got that version 3. The old adapter I had was 203, so it's a newer EEPROM version. It's got that external video connection on the bus, plus the VGA port on the back, and it does give shows up as the Eagle 1 Revision A, and this is just a plain Eagle that I have. Now, Major Tom did go through, and with the pictures that were on the auction listing, he was able to come up with enough of a page, and certainly the input here will feed into that. where these jumpers are, everything else to this board, and he's saying that this is a BVE adapter, and rather unusual one at that. That's what was really the tempting thing for me. In fact, I want to see, and this will just be if, since these are from the model 56 and 57, it won't have a BVE extension on this. It just have the AVE extension on this board, since they have built-in a built-in base video. And indeed, he is right. He did a comparison of the photos, and this is a BVE extension that's on this for this connector, because it goes through and it does not fit in the conventional slot with an AVE. So this would be put on a PS2 that has that doesn't have the effectively the base video built in, and that's the other reason that made it unique. And why these things don't have an ADF and just seem to be leaking out in single quantities, I don't know. And my interest is in documenting this. And so I want to say to the competing bidders, I'm sorry I stepped on you with my snipe bid. I don't really do that. I haven't done snipes on auction listings for many, many years now, probably well over a decade. But I just had an interest that I wanted to get this adapter to be able to document it further and try to justify it. I know I'm just reaching here, but saying that this doesn't have an ADF, that the another buyer would have had to come up with an ADF for this adapter to be able to use it. And even the occurrence of use in a PS2 that needs that base video extension for what this board has. So, I mean, there's my justification. Now, as I say, I'll get to the photos probably in the daytime. The other aspect that I did want to do relatively quickly as well, like I say, there's no real worry that the contents of this EEPROM are gone, but it would be good for me to go through and to be able to image this EEPROM as well. And I have to find, where do I have a flat-bladed screwdriver like I use typically to extract these chips. This will just take me a moment to locate one of those, and I'll be back on video. That really surprised me that I didn't have one within easy grasp, but it wasn't that far away. And normally I have so many of these little flat-bladed screwdrivers around. I can just reach in and have one, but yeah. Moved in the way that it did. Normally you can get one side up and then the other side. And we'll just set that next to, I'll get my pictures tomorrow of this, and I want to go through, I want to image the problem so we can start My pin one is on my TL866 is like that towards the latch, and we've got it in there correctly. We go through. We don't need to worry about those pin checks and check IDs. And we go through. Now on the other Eagle that I had previously, it doesn't even use that much of the EEPROM contents. And this looks like a little bit more. And I don't... I could probably try and switch over to that just to kind of go to show a little bit of this. And it just has the markings for the version number and everything at the top there. And yeah, let's go through. Let's see if I can quickly change around my video sources. Well, that'll be... Yeah, there's not a real easy way for me to do that at this juncture. Because I have my video source for the ClearClick that's over here on my 3489 terminal right now. But if it was just a center monitor, I could briefly flip it over. But my Lenovo is not really in an opportunity to go over to that VGA source as much. So I can go through and probably even just screenshot that and some other things. For the initial viewers that are going to see this, this is not a... I think I have all my OneDrive set up for on this system that it should copy that over screen. That's the reason it didn't chime at me. But I wanted to go through and read that, and that way I can get it to Major Tom, and I'll go through and I'll browse on this system. And I don't think I have the WSFTP set up on this. I'll have to transfer it over to a USB drive. But just to get this saved away, we will go through, we'll create a new folder. So there's quite a bit of that I could have gone through earlier. Okay. And we'll do... I'm just going through and I'm trying to create a little bit of directory structure. For how I'm going to save that. And I'm going to say Eagle... I can do Eagle 300 for version 3. It's going to save that as a bin file. And it's telling us it's been saved. So now I just get this file. I'll get it over to Major Tom so we can look at it for the weekend. And I'll decide a schedule that I can go through for the release of this video. Just when we have enough content built up. And I'm not really even sure if I will go through and see how quickly I can maybe even try and start on an ADF for doing this. Maybe that'll be easy enough to do. But I'm not gonna release this video publicly today. It's gonna be I want to let things cool off a little bit more and just to go with it, and that's fine. I did a live stream this morning. Going through and delaying this video is nothing much. I don't have to come up with a video otherwise today to release, and I'll just mark a schedule. Sorry, content's coming up, I guess is the way to say it. So you if you're on that list of previews and get to see this video earlier, that's great for you. Click on that like button that you enjoyed it, and I'm sending this video to that list. I know people have subscribed. Those people have subscribed to my channel. But later, when this comes out publicly in this segment, if I leave this in, by all means, subscribe to my channel and recommend it to your friends. And you can comment on the video to say, "Man, you sniped me. I was going to get that adapter. I knew how to write ADFs," and make me feel a little bit more guilty. That's fine too. We can hash that out in YouTube comments, and I can react at that time. I hope I've gone through and explained myself well enough for the actions I did. I'm sorry, it was just too tempting for me to go through and document this adapter. I wanted to get it, and I was willing to pay the price that it took to do that. That's fine. But that's all I have for now. This is IBM Museum. Thank you.